Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Magic. Today, before anyone even thinks about hitting the skip button, listen carefully. What happened yesterday was not fandom gossip, not a ship war, not Twitter drama we can laugh about and move on from. This is real, this is serious, and it involves the safety of a real human being named Jimin. There are no theories here, no free interpretations. No, in my opinion, Dispatch spoke clearly. The facts are simple and deeply alarming. Someone impersonated a reporter to get close to Jimin. If that single fact does not trigger alarm bells, then something is seriously wrong. Not with the situation, but with how some people are choosing to respond to it. This video is not about ships, not about favorite narratives. It is about one crucial question. Why is Jimin's safety repeatedly being downplayed? What happened yesterday cannot and must not be treated as fandom gossip, an absurd ship fight, or just another piece of Twitter drama. This is not entertainment, not content to manipulate, not a stage to force narratives. This is a real, serious, and deeply dangerous situation. And every attempt to reduce it to something else exposes one thing very clearly: how little concern some people have for the safety of an actual human being. Because this is not theory, not speculation, not fandom imagination. Dispatch delivered the information clearly. No hidden meaning, no ambiguity, no room for reinterpretation. The facts were direct and disturbing. Someone in the crowd posed as press in order to approach Jimin. That's it. No additions. No but. No maybe. That alone should alarm anyone with basic empathy. Someone pretending to be pressed to get close to an artist is not normal. It is not fan enthusiasm, not a misunderstanding, and absolutely not something that can be justified. It is dangerous behavior, and dangerous is not a dramatic word. It is a security term. Reporters present confirmed that security intervened because the approach was considered a potential threat. At that moment, the focus should have been on one thing only: Jimin's safety. But that is not what happened. Instead, we saw a familiar pattern. People more invested in controlling narratives than protecting a human being. Videos were deliberately edited. Images were cropped strategically. Context was stripped away. From that manipulation, a false parallel story was constructed. One where Jimin was slowly erased from the center of the incident. In that version of events, Jimin no longer mattered. He was no longer relevant. No longer the priority. And this was not accidental. For some people, Jimin has never been the priority, even when his safety is at risk. Without evidence, without sources, without a single official statement, a claim began circulating that the stalker was actually targeting Taeyong. This must be stated clearly and repeatedly. No one said that. No reporter, no official source, no confirmation of any kind. Yet the lie was repeated, polished, and presented as fact. Because the goal was never the truth. The goal was to remove Jimin from the conversation. And when that wasn't enough, the distortion escalated even further, into something far more disturbing, claiming the woman was a Jimin fan whose real intention was to attack Taeyong. This is no longer simple fandom manipulation. This is a complete inversion of reality. Turning a threat against Jimin into a story where Jimin is indirectly blamed is cruel, twisted, and deeply inhumane. So let's be absolutely clear. No matter how much we love Jikook, no matter how much we cherish their connection, chemistry, or moments, none of that is more important than Jimin's safety. Not even close. This is not the time for ships. Not the time for theories. Not the time for romantic fantasies or manufactured narratives. Jikook can be beautiful, comforting, meaningful to many, but it must never be used to minimize real danger, justify hatred toward Jimin, or downplay a serious security threat. And this needs to be said plainly. Defending Jimin is not attacking Jikook. Prioritizing Jimin's safety does not mean choosing one person over another. Right now, the focus is on Jimin because he is the one who was placed in danger. That is not bias. Not an agenda. It is logic, empathy, and basic human responsibility. This incident also does not exist in isolation. It comes amid recent threats against Jimin, including threats involving his family. And yet, even in a situation this severe, some people still choose to fabricate stories, redirect blame, and spread misinformation. Once again, the same pattern emerges. The same tactics, the same accounts. This is no longer just toxic fandom behavior. This is the normalization of danger. It sends the message that whatever happens to Jimin is never that serious. That his safety can always be postponed to protect a narrative. And no, he cannot wait. Jimin is a real human being. Not a ship obstacle. Not a fandom weapon. Not a villain created to justify hatred. He deserves protection, respect, and for every warning sign to be treated with full seriousness. One more thing must be said. Dragging Taehyung's name into the situation is disrespectful to him as well. No one who genuinely loves an artist would use his name as a shield to justify lies or deflect hatred toward another member. That is not love, not protection. That is obsession, and it crossed the line a long time ago. Yes, security intervened, but that does not erase what happened. Someone infiltrated the crowd, falsified an identity, and got dangerously close with unknown intent. Every time incidents like this are minimized or twisted into ship drama, future risks grow. So no, this is not the time for distraction. This is the time to demand that Jimin's safety be treated as an absolute priority, above any fandom, any ship, any narrative. And anyone who still cannot understand that should ask themselves honestly, how far are you willing to go just to keep hating Jimin? Meanwhile, BTS's global impact remains undeniable. According to Ticketmaster Mexico, demand for BTS was so extreme that it would require up to 46 concerts at Estadio GNP Seguros to meet it. Over 2.1 million searches were recorded. Queues so long they were compared to stretching from Mexico City to the US border. 136,400 tickets sold digitally, and still only a fraction of real demand. BTS doesn't just fill stadiums. They shake entire countries. But none of that matters if we fail at the most basic responsibility of all, protecting the human beings behind the name. There is no room left for distortion, no justification for lies, and no excuse for pushing Jimin out of the center, especially when he is the one in danger. Loving Jikook will never be more important than Jimin's safety. Defending Jimin is not attacking Jungkook. Demanding empathy is not an agenda, it is human responsibility. Jimin is not a fandom tool, not a ship obstacle, and not someone who can be asked to wait until a narrative feels comfortable. If you're still here, thank you. You chose empathy over fantasy, truth over lies. Please like, subscribe, and share this video not for the algorithm but so this message is heard clearly. Jimin's safety is not up for debate. It is an absolute priority. See you in the next video. Stay critical. Stay human.